want to start the show off with this Entertainment Weekly article by Patrick Gomez. And this came out on the 17th. So it's just like a recent article. And I don't know if you guys knew about this, but Stupid Buddy Studios was working on this project. And they, of course, made Robot Chicken. And so they've got these exclusive photos for that website. And so the executive producers, it says, were Matt Steinrich and David Brooks. And so some of these pictures are interesting because it looks like they used some sort of felt to make their puppets. And of course, it looks like they used some sort of toys, which is predictable from Stupid Buddy Studios. Yes, Hoser Lou, welcome to the show. Glad to see you here. And so we were just talking about this and looking at these pictures. And but before we do that, why don't we watch the trailer for this, the teaser. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike for this, but I'm going to go full screen and let's watch.
Are you ready for the most merry mission of the year, Blitzen? What the...
Sprinkles, get down!
They don't really go into a whole lot of detail with their trailer, but you get the gist of it. It's obviously the Predator goes to perhaps the North Pole and, and causes a lot of problems, and the reindeer take revenge or whatever. Hey, what's going on, Evie? So, yeah, so it's going to be, I guess, on television, but it's also going to be on DVD as well. And some of the pictures they posted here, you can see we got Santa Claus, we've got maybe Blitzen. I'm not really sure which reindeer that is. And so lots of gore. We got the Predator. Looks like he's ripped a couple of heads off some of the reindeer here. So let's see what it says here. So the special airs December 19th on Comedy Central during BoJack Horseman at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and The Predator is available on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and DVD on December 18th, and is available now on digital. So maybe they'll have a link on this article of where it's available digitally, because I didn't notice that. It says the piece is really just a fun homage to Predator in a stop-motion technique. So we're in Santa's North Pole, and it appears to be this perfect Christmas scene until a Predator shows up and starts stalking the reindeer, explained Steinrich. And we follow one of the elves around as he's running for Santa and trying to warn Santa that the Predators are coming. So it's not just one Predator, evidently. So it says, we kind of take the animation in a very Rudolph-style way, except it's a lot more bloody and gory than you would expect, adds Brooks. But seriously, we could totally expect that from Stupid Buddy Studios, because they're always doing that, so it's kind of predictable. But it says, while time-consuming, Brooks and Steinrich say that they and their team have always loved the art of stop-motion animation, which goes without saying. I mean, of course they do, right? And so it says, we grew up a lot on this stuff, and that we have a nostalgia for a lot of these properties. As far as the animation style, a lot of our animators go back to Rudolph as what inspired them to get into the business, says Steinrich. And as far as taking a property like Predator and just turning it 90 degrees on its side is really what we like to do. It's our sense of storytelling. So it's kind of cool. And here's a shot where they haven't erased the the rig in there. So it looks like the Predator is like stabbing this elf to death. Poor elf. Oops. That looks like I don't know why I keep thinking this must be Blitzen. It just seems like his name would fit with that particular style of machine gun. Like he's gonna go on a blitz. I don't know. Yeah, yep. Bacon and Rest gone mad, exactly. But where's the link to the? There's gotta be a link on here for digital. So I don't. Let me see here. So they've got some like. They've got some strange web addresses on here. I don't really want to click them because they're. It looks like just IP addresses or I don't know what that is. I think they've screwed up on their HTML. But let's. This is probably the link. Let me click it. Hopefully it doesn't like blast us with some kind of video or something. It's definitely not it there. Alright. Well, anyways. That's something I would have to Google, and I probably should have done that before the show, but somehow you can download this off the internet. Maybe it's on like iTunes, or maybe the Stupid Buddy Studios website has a link to it. But anyways, that's kind of cool, and some of these pictures are kind of revealing, but they don't really go into a whole lot of detail. Like here's just like a probably Canon DSLR and a C stand, you know, some close-ups, got some practical lighting. But they don't show like the puppet making stuff, and that's kind of what I wish they would show. But yeah, very reminiscent of Rankin and Bass, which is really cool. All right, Evie, catch you later, and welcome to the show, Randy. All right, so moving forward. So I got an invite on Facebook. This is a thing called Vile Cal Stop Motion Artist, and I haven't really checked out a whole lot about this. Let's click on the About link here, and so they do have a website. Or not. Okay, that's not their website. Anyway, but they have photos of an in-progress film that they're working on. And some of the pictures look great. I noticed that it looks like they're using silicone for some of the like the facial casts. Let's see if I can make that larger. I guess it's as large as it goes. But you can see here one of the main puppets, which has a lot of tattoos, and it has a kind of. It sort of reminds me of the Gorillaz animation, like the band Gorillaz, some of their music videos in the style, or perhaps Adventure Time, some sort of like a hybrid, just like the way the eyes look, and I don't know about you guys, but doesn't that kind of look like a Gorillaz character to you? So it looks like they've used maybe felt, some fabrics, and some foam, perhaps. And they had different versions of these characters. Oops, I guess that's a loop of pictures there. Let's see, these are all photos. Yeah, I've noticed Mandy posting a lot of funny stuff too. He's always posting the good stuff. A lot of my friends post a lot of political stuff, and every like once every year or so I'll post something political, but some people post way too much political stuff on Facebook. But so here's this is a cool looking puppet. Looks like this is the sculpture that maybe they cast in silicone, and so they don't have any like descriptions on a lot of these, unfortunately. So but they've got you can see here like a Sculpey sculpture of the lead character. Here's like a bathroom scene. So this is actually somewhat similar to Robot Chicken Style or something. It's not really cartoony stylized. It's very everything has 90 degrees to it and straight. Very reminiscent of that as well. But so we've got looks like perhaps somebody is stalking this character in the shower or something. I'm not really sure. I don't really know about like the story behind it, but And here we have what looks like a... I'm not really sure, actually. Wait, where does it say here? It says, finally we turned the set. So I'm not sure if they're actually English speaking either. A lot of people that are writing comments are in what appears to be like, well, I don't know. I don't know what language that even is. It's a pretty good close-up. So a lot of the fingers and everything, a lot of this stuff must have been really hard to do, because if you look at their hands, and I can make it, oh, that's pretty good, it's pretty big. If you look at their fingers and stuff, it looks like they must have some sort of wire inside there, and then they actually like cut the cloth for each finger, and then it looks like they sewed it together. So that had to have been so hard to do. And they don't have like irises or anything, you know, that's just like white eyes. And here's some of the, here's one of the animators, as you can see. And you can see about the scale of the puppet, and the scale is actually kind of big. So I guess, you know, making fingers like that wouldn't be as hard at this scale, but it still seems pretty hard. And it looks like they're using a Canon. And it looks like Dragon Frame. I don't know if you guys can tell. Let me make this smaller. So you can see, but in the background it looks like they're using Dragon Frame as their capture software. And it looks like, so they got some sort of like Christmas lights, and yeah, I don't know what else to say really. Oh, there's like a rig back here as well. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Here's another shot with some of the Christmas lighting behind the character, which gives a nice rim light on the character here. Kind of trippy. And some nice tests from today, it says. So I guess the owner is speaking English. I'm not really sure why the comments are in a different language like that. Here's one of the armatures. And this is from, I think one of these pictures has a link to the person that made these armatures. It's a guy in the UK that machines these. And they seem like they're really nice too, really nice armatures. You find it kind of creepy? Yeah, but without the pupils and the eyes and everything, it is a bit creepy. Here's some sort of a set that is held in place with strings and stuff. Unless this is like a parachute. But that's kind of cool. It's like actually got to crawl inside there. I wonder if trying to animate without disturbing this is hard or not, because it seems like... so one of the things I should probably point out here is, you know, when you build a set, sometimes it's better to build the set where it's sort of at the height of your elbows when you're standing up, because bending down like this can be really you know, hard on your back. So if you can imagine, for example, being in this position for about 6 hours, doing some kind of like complicated animation that requires, like, you know, easing in and easing out and follow through and maybe squash and stretch, or, you know, whatever you're doing, or dialogue, you don't really want to have your set this low. I mean, that's really not good. Unless she has a chair there or something where she can sit down and actually, you know, put her hands in there and not have to crouch like that. So Ken says, it seems Nightmare really did set the standard for stop motion being creepy. And Randy says, I think Quay Brothers defined stop-mo creepy, and that was way before Nightmare. So here are some of the designs. Let me see if I can make this large. Here we go. So very interesting how they they use the sewing as part of the design. So like this design shows different colorations sewn into the character for the sides and the knee, for example. And then over here, you can see that the characters are, it's like they're using almost like different colors to emulate what would be shadows. I'm not really sure if that's the idea, but... And here's a large hand. Maybe that's for a close-up of something. And we've got a bed. And here's... oh, it's the same puppet as over here. But you can see the Band-Aid. And it doesn't have the knee design as shown over here. And in the design, it's also got pupils. So I wonder if perhaps they're like digitally going to put those in after. So maybe in post-production, they're going to have blinks and eyelashes and stuff. So that would kind of take some of the creepiness factor out, you know, a little bit. I know it could be like the, you know, Madame Tootly Pootly or whatever, whatever it's called, where they sort of superimposed eyes in there. Now this is I'm not really sure what this is here. This is like a close-up of maybe one of the characters is turning something on, or I don't really know, but it looks like it's a hand that's grabbing like a knob here or something. And so here's the, I think this is the larger hands, perhaps. This appears to be a tablet behind them, so they seem probably about, I'm gonna say 3 inches or so long. And then here's that sort of demonic looking silicone cast character. And there he is. So I think we're back to square one. Yeah, we are. But it is an interesting project. I am going to follow it and just see what comes of it. I guess, oh, these pictures didn't show up, did they? So there's actually more pictures, and I'm not sure why these didn't load. So I guess we saw, let's go up a bit. So it looks like they're at a college, and it's in Israel. Okay, so it's an Israeli group of people. That would explain why the lettering was a bit different. Oh yeah, the Brothers Quays. That is some very creepy stuff. Much more creepier than Nightmare, because their stuff is more in line with almost like a darker version of Jan Svankmajer, maybe. Let's see here. So, oh. So they got a lot of yarn in there inside their set. Let me see something here. So here's one of the armatures. So they are actually using wire. So they're kind of going basic with some of their characters. Maybe these are secondary characters, because before, as if you guys can remember, we saw some of the ball and socket armatures, which would be much nicer. But here's the wire armature. And that's as big as it goes, unfortunately. And there you can see the scale. So for the kid is smaller than the adult. So these are actually pretty large puppets. And here's one with pupils. And also here. And I don't know if this is the same project though, because it seems to be a bit different. But still, it's the artistry is really good. So here's the aluminum armature. It looks like they're using foam to sort of pad the body a bit. and then fabric over that. And doesn't get larger. How about this one? Here we go. And here's one. So you can see they've used wire and Propoxy, 2-part epoxy for the bones and stuff, which is pretty cool as well. It's kind of a nice puppet, actually. And so yeah, I think that pretty much covers all the photos for the most part. These are some really interesting puppets. I kind of like them. See if there's anything that I missed. So here's their, this must be part of that set that we saw before where they had the fabric over it. Now, it looks like they're using some kind of like a chicken wire of some sort here to sort of strengthen the fabric from collapsing. Very interesting. Oh, this must be... So there's the bed. So their main page, let me see if it has any information about when it might be completed, and I can't find anything about it actually, and nothing is in English. So anyways, that is kind of cool. I don't want to stick on this topic for too much longer, but if you guys want to go on Facebook, you can check them out at Vile-Cow-Stop Motion Artists. And hopefully they'll update that soon. Alright. So moving forward, guys. So I did get this email, and it was from Rafi Sen, and he was telling me about this project he worked on. So he says, so I made this video, only my second and first using DragonFrame a while ago, but I finally got around to uploading it online. I was responsible for the entire production from storyboards to final color correction, and I suppose being terrible at social media but knowing its importance. This is just me reaching out as the artist, trying to A, get some feedback from senior and experienced stop motion artists, enthusiasts, and B, trying to get some views and shares. I guess I'm also passing this on as I figure you guys are around my age and will probably enjoy the He-Man nostalgia. Let me know what you think. So he's kind of looking for feedback, and so Hoser Lou wrote up this this article, and so we posted the video that Rafi had sent us, and let me open it up for you guys. And again, hopefully I don't get like a copyright strike or something for this, but we're gonna play this. It's only 1 minute and 12 seconds, and it might bring back some memories for some of you guys. Okay, so I thought this was a really well-produced little animation, and I noticed that there's a lot of detail. Let me see if I can. There we go. Make it a little bit bigger. So the lighting and everything is really good, and we've got all these effects that are kind of thrown in. And here you can see we've got like the lightning bolts. And I think that also because this is a original play set that came out in, I guess, maybe like 1980, I'm gonna say 7 or so. And it was out from a long time ago, and I used to have it. It's Castle Grayskull, and like the back used to fold out and everything, and then you can like close it up and store your action figures in there and everything. And so he's used the toys and kind of made, again, you know, a very robot chickeny sort of you know, short animation. But if you look at it, there's like there's these rocks that he's got. We've also got like some looks like some fog perhaps kind of rolling in the background, and it's animated, right? And Cringer's eyeballs. Now I'm not really sure how he did this, but I'm pretty sure he must have done it in post-production, where he must have like made the blinks, like hand painted those in there, like right there. And hey, Mr. Gold. Yeah, I'm not sure if Ron Cole is here. So Randy, you've never seen He-Man? Ah, okay. Well, this is pretty much almost like a shot by shot copy of the intro of the original He-Man cartoon. So, and I guess there were actually a few different versions of it that came out. So, you know, certain seasons they would kind of switch things up a little bit. But so we got Cringer that kind of blinks in the back, and He-Man, of course. And we've also, again, we've got like we've got some stars in the background. And so we've got, like, you know, I'm not really sure how he did that, maybe with green screen and then keyed it out. But the general look of the frame, everything is really nice and clean. Oh, and I don't know if you know, did you guys notice that Cringer is, so he's like a scaredy cat, right? Until He-Man zaps him with his powers, but he kind of shivers in the background, you know, like he's scared. And there's some great little animation that goes around his sword, you know, as he's getting his powers. So, let's see here. Yeah, there is no mouth animation. So he did use toys, and I'm not really sure if there would have been a way to do that without, you know, actually perhaps like molding the head and casting it, and then making some sort of replacement faces or mouths. That would be something that could be done for sure. Of course, it would have been a lot more work. Not really sure if that was what he was going for or not, but that is something that could definitely make a difference. Ooh. Okay, so then we've got this animation where he's sort of, you know, of course, he's changing into He-Man. So Adam becomes, you know, all powerful. So yeah, this is just like the intro, and so I'm not really sure how he did this. I'm gonna guess maybe After Effects to get these. So his. I mean, when I was a little kid, I had a neighbor friend that had this particular cat and this exact He-Man figure. And I was jealous because it was so awesome. I always thought it was really neat. But, yeah, this is really cool. And so, again, you know, he's got the atmosphere. And we've got these, this sort of rocky formation here for the set that I'm gathering he built or sculpted with clay, perhaps. Not really sure how he would have done that. Oh, okay, let me go back here. So I'm sure like this here must have been like either a rig was holding her up, or maybe she's like laying down on the ground on a green screen, or nice, Mr. Gold. All right. So and Mr. Gold also says, how could you animate the mouth? And he says you can make mouth stickers. Just an idea. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, Robot Chicken did that a lot as well, didn't they? Like little sticker sheets. Hey, Grandview Workshop. So we were just checking out this He-Man and the Masters of the Universe stop motion title sequence. So here's Skeletor and his. And this particular set looks like maybe a composite of a few different things. And you can see we've got some bubbling smoke sort of in these crevices, which actually looks really good. I'm not really sure if he did that in like a practical way, or if that was, you know, using software. I mean, software these days, it's so amazing what you can do with it. But it does look like it's actually, you know, bubbling, like dry ice and water or something that he could have used there. And this could be a composite of a live action sequence that's, you know, maybe composited in there, and then the stop motion is off to the side. But it does look like there's several pieces that he's put in here that are you know, separated. Like right here, this looks like it's one piece, and in the background, Looks like perhaps like this black part looks like it might have been reused from where the castle was. I'm guessing. I'm not really sure. But that's the impression I got. But anyway, so that is Rafi Sengupta, and so I want to thank him for sending that to us, because it is really fun to watch and to try and deconstruct how things might have been done or what you could do better. So I mean, what do you guys think? So what do you think about the lighting, though? Are you guys impressed with it, or do you guys think that there could be anything different? So it does seem to be like a nighttime scene, but I mean, we'd have to examine the actual original trailer, or the title sequence from the show, and compare it. But I guess if it's a cartoon, I'm not really sure you'd want to have super hyper realistic lighting with, because the cartoon is rather flat. There's not a lot of shadows and stuff. So this is like 10 times better than the cartoon in the way that it looks dimensional. But it is really cool. So anyways, I wonder if I'm going to subscribe to. I had not subscribed to Rafi, so I'm going to do that now. And I guess that I should probably talk about his YouTube channel. So now, I'm not sure if he's going to be doing a lot of future stop motion animations, but either way, it's probably a channel worth subscribing to, just in case he does, to keep up. So his channel is Rafi SG, and that's on YouTube. And also he's got a website. However, there's nothing really on there to click on so much, and it's just like a few pictures, and he's done some CG work as well, some animations. So he's got like his email and his Facebook page. And he's also got an Instagram, but there's no like photos and stuff on it, so that's why I didn't load it up here today. But so if you want to find that, you can go to www.rafi.co.nz. All right. So Ken is saying about the lighting. He says the lighting is good as well as the effects. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty good. And so Randy says the look of He-Man, the look of the He-Man thing is very nice, but I haven't seen the original to compare. Let me see here. Let me do something real quick. Maybe we can actually look at it. Just give me 2 seconds and I will see if I can find it on YouTube. Hopefully I can. Alright, here we go. Ironically, it is the exact same length as Rafi's. And there we go. Alright, let me mute my my microphone and let's watch it. Get rid of this thing here first. Alright, let's try this again here. Trying to emulate or not. Because like I said, there are a couple, or probably 3 different openings for the He-Man series, if I recall. That they always would change like little things here and there. But I would say, like if we were to compare the two, the biggest difference would be that one has camera moves and one does not. It's like they kind of zoom into Cringer here, and also when he pulls his sword out, the whole thing kind of pans to the side a little bit, but still, it's really awesome. So yeah, I think Randy needs to catch up on some He-Man. Maybe watch a few episodes. He'd probably like it. What does he care? Alright. So, let's see. So So Husserlo says, I would have tried to use the same mouth movement style as the cartoon used. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a good idea. I'm not really sure, you know, how far he wanted to take things, yeah, because that would require a lot of work. And I do understand, you know, sometimes when you're doing stuff on your own, how it's kind of hard to do stuff like that. But that would be nice, absolutely. And so GrabView sends, also, do you review claymations, like not character clay figures? Because I have some I would like some feedback on, and if it's okay with you, I'd like to post it to the website for feedback week. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to post it, you could even post it now before the end of the show. We could, I could refresh the page, and I'll do that now actually to make sure that nobody else posted anything before we move forward. But yeah, sure, feel free to. Yeah, I think our website's been kind of weird lately here as well, by the way. I updated the site just like 2 days ago or so, and it's been kind of acting up. In fact, Hoserloo had some problems posting the news, and so we had to work that out this morning. But I'm gonna probably try to figure out what's going on there and fix that soon. Hopefully you guys don't have any problems posting like in the forums. All right. So anyways, so we are going to talk about Hoserloo's project, and so now I guess 2 weeks ago we had our first feedback week, and for some reason I forgot to show his, and I think it was because I didn't reload the page right before the show, realizing that, you know, he had posted it, and it wasn't in my mind to show it, so I completely forgot. And so we are going to watch it this week. And so Hoserloo says that this is just a work in progress, and it's 10 seconds long, which is very short, but there's a lot to look at. So let's expand this and play it. Alright, so obviously we got like a Batman scene, and so Bruce Wayne, I guess, and his sidekick, the Boy Wonder. So let's check it out. So we've got this set, and one of the first things I noticed is the overall complexity of the set is it's quite detailed and impressive, just in the way that you can see that there's a fireplace, there's a panda head on the wall, there's pictures, and we have wallpaper, we have a desk and a chair, and so then we've got the statue that has a button, you know, a secret button in there, and so that's how they open up their access to the Bat Cave via bat poles. And so the door opens, and let's go back here. So you can see we've got some helping hands to hold up one of the puppets, and I think, let's see here. It looks like there is something in behind the desk as well to hold up the second puppet, and then the secret entrance closes. So the lighting is really cool, and I think that I noticed a few things that have gone a little awry. Perhaps you guys noticed it as well. Is that the lighting kind of shifts during the shot. So right there, you can see that we've gone from a warm temperature to a cool temperature on the lighting, or cooler. And it looks like maybe the lighting got bumped. That's the first thing I noticed, the first problem. Now, so Randy says, that's fun ho. Good looking set. A tip, you ought to glue down walls that aren't supposed to move. Is it the walls or is it the lighting that shifts? Oh, wait, yeah, I can see. Yeah. I think the back, this rear wall does move a bit. Yeah, so maybe some hot glue, right? I don't know if you guys use hot glue, but I use hot glue kind of like you know, most people use duct tape for everything. I'm kind of like the hot glue person. But so Hosrulu says there's a major ugly color shift that makes those walls look like they move. My bad, and I screwed up the color balance. Are you aware of like how that might have happened? Because you know sometimes what happens is, well, this is from what I've been told. Well, there's two ways. It could either been if your camera setting was changed from using like a tungsten filter, digital filter. Not really sure what you want to call it. So the firmware, usually like in a Canon DSLR or a Nikon, allows you to set the color temperature either automatically or manually. So if it's on auto, what can happen is, so we have, I guess this is Robin on the left. So we had this red shirt, and we also had the red phone, and depending on how much of that red fills the frame, for example, sometimes cameras will calculate based on how much of one color is in a shot. And as it moves around, the color temperature could possibly change on the camera with the auto setting. So like right here where it shifts, in color temperature, there might have been something in the frame that caused the camera to think, okay, we have to change the color temperature for the third frame or the fourth frame in or whatever. After that point, so there's like a slight transition of maybe is there a transition, or does it just go? So as I go through here, yeah, it seems almost like it's all of a sudden. I was gonna say it might have been dependent on where the puppets were, but it doesn't seem that way. So Hoserlu says, I stopped midway through this, then finished it, and I didn't get it matched well. Okay. Mr. Gold says he has a Michael Myers puppet. Is it a, can you explain is it a puppet that you built, or is it something that you got somewhere, like from an auction, perhaps, or? So Hoserlu says, and yes, thanks, Randy, I didn't had those walls glued down. But even still, it doesn't really, it's not that big a deal. I mean, honestly speaking, it's not like it's distracting or anything like that. And also, in post-production, you can just go in I don't know if you're using like Sony Vegas or maybe Premiere or something, but it's really easy to change the color temperature. So, you just gotta go in there and maybe, after you play your, after you scrub where your frames are shifting, just use one frame and the frame before it and just match it with the frame after, But the other thing you can do is, so this line here in the wall itself, going up and down through the entire frame, does not have any of the puppets going past this point. So you could technically go in here and you could go in the previous frame and cut this entire section out and then paste it over this section at the ends, so that any shifts in the wall would not appear to be there. If that makes sense. So Randy says, I've many bumps of things during shots and wished I'd have glued it all down. It took years, but I finally learned. And Mr. Gold says that his Michael Myers puppet is something he bought. Michael Myers from Halloween. Cool. Are you planning to animate it? So one little trick that I learned. So if you guys are watching this, I don't think that there's any camera bumps, which is pretty cool. But one of the things I learned is, like, if you have a plastic tripod, those are probably the worst tripods to use for stop motion. So a lot of like these cheapo, like you go to a camera store or something, and they've got these extendable legs, you know, where you can like pull out a little lever and slide it out and then close the lever. And they're great for taking on trips if you're going outdoors, because they're lightweight and you can set it up quick and you can take your picture and stuff. But for stop motion, if you're worried about, you know, bumps and things like that, now Randy is right about one thing: you can glue the walls down, but you can also hot glue stuff to concrete basement floors and garage, you know, slabs, and then you can just take like a paint scraper and scrape it right off, usually, so it doesn't ruin your floor. But also what you can do is you can weigh a lot of this stuff down. Like you can weigh your set down by hanging like paint cans off of it, you know, with lots of paint in it, because you want it to be heavy. So you don't want to go like with an empty paint can or something like that. But anything that's heavy that you can lay across the legs, you know, paint cans, cinder blocks, boxes of clay, you know, whatever you have, because the heavier your set is, no matter what, if you bump into it or if you lean on it or something like that, it's unlikely that you're gonna move it. You know, it's less flimsy that way in most cases, provided that you screwed it all together really well and it's strong enough. But that is one thing that a lot of people do, is they'll just take something super heavy and, you know, hang it off the bottom of your set where you can't see it, and it just kind of serves its purpose to make things more sturdy. The other thing is, if you go to the hardware store, like Home Depot or Lowe's or, you know, whatever you've got near you, they sell these wooden wedges, and they're used to, like if you're putting in a window or a door, so the frame of the door itself that goes into a wall when you're building a house. A lot of times the 2x4s, the uprights, are not perfectly square, and a lot of the times they will be either bowed or skewed or, you know, warped a little bit. And when they're trying to get a perfect fit of any of these kind of things in the framing of your house, they'll slide in these wooden wedges. And so they usually sell wooden wedge packs really cheap, like for a couple of bucks. And you can use those wedges to, you know, if you have like a set floor and it's laying flat on a wooden tabletop or something, and it has any kind of ability to rock back and forth on whatever it's sitting on, you want to, you know, make sure you have some wedges in there. And then use like drywall screws if you can. But also where the feet touch the floor, it's always a good idea to have wedges under that as well. So if there's any chance of the set rocking or, you know, sliding around, you want to make sure it's really firm, because it's extremely common to bump stuff. I mean, as you can tell, like with Hoserloo, you know, he probably maybe bumped the light or something, or, you know, bumped the walls. Because what you've got to do here is you've got two puppets that had to go through a narrow door, and you got to get in there, and you've got to, you know, like you can see that there's two chairs to work around. We've got not only these two chairs, but we've got potentially two rigs. So one of the rigs I think was hidden in the back here, behind the desk, right? As he slides around. And then we've got this one over here. So, you know, we've got to work this around this chair. We've got to work the puppet in between, you know, all these set pieces and everything. So bumping stuff is very likely. So like hot gluing that stuff down is a great way to go. Now, if you're worried about messing your set pieces up, and you don't want to use like a permanent hot glue, the other stuff you can use is called sticky wax. So sticky wax is a kind of substance that if you build doll houses, if you go to a place that you can like, I think like Hobby Lobby probably sells it. What it is like a little metal tin that you open up, and the wax inside is very, very soft, and you can kind of make like a little ball out of it with just the warmth of your fingers, and you stick it down, and it's not permanent. The only problem is that if you have a wooden floor which isn't varnished, it will tend to leach the oils out a little bit into the wood. So you can't really keep it stuck down for a long time on a non-treated wood floor or something. But otherwise, it's great stuff. And you can scrape it off your set piece for later. So, like for example, these chairs, you know, since this is behind this desk, you can use hot glue, or you could use a chunk of clay, or your wax or something. But if you're going to have a separate camera angle from the side and you're going to see that chair, you don't want to have a big blob of sticky wax on it or something. So it allows you the ability to remove it. And it doesn't have like a color or a stain or anything like that in it. So it works really good. And let's see here. So Randy says, did you build that set from scratch? It's very impressive. And Hoserlu says, yes, it is from scratch. And he says foam core and balsa wood is what he used. And he asks, so Randy says, what material is on the chairs? And he says those were all hand sculpted. Wow, that's pretty awesome. And Randy says, did you sculpt the bust? And so Hoserlu says, the bust is a toy. I didn't sculpt that. And Mr. Gold is wondering how the lamp was made. And he says the lamp is a modified Barbie lamp. Cool. The scale is perfect. I mean, it's perfect for these characters. And that's really smart too, to use like, you know, modified toys and stuff. And so yeah, I don't know, guys. I think it's really impressive though. I mean, I think a lot of this stuff is easy enough to fix up in post. You know, it looks great. The lighting is good. You know, the animation's pretty good. I think it's a little bit hard to animate characters like this in a very super pristine, precise way, because they're not really designed for stop motion. You know, they're action figures, I'm presuming. Unless Hoserlu, did you by chance modify them in any way, like use wire for their arms, or? And so Mr. Gold says, and yes, I will animate the Michael Myers puppet. Cool. That would be something that we could definitely show for Feedback Week. So I'm gonna refresh the page here, see if anybody posted, and okay, so Grandview did. All right. Whoop, where are we? So yeah, so this is really cool. So Hoserlu, was there anything else that you want to ask everybody, like any sort of questions about, you know, what they would do differently, or I don't know. I mean, to me, it's really cool, but is there anything you want an insight about? And so Hoserlu says, I modified the figures. Yes, cool. They seem to move pretty well. And Randy says that when using rigs, always try to keep the point where it touches the puppet behind the puppet. Otherwise, rig removal is a nightmare. That's a good tip. Yep. That's a really good tip. Yeah, perhaps having like a... I know in some puppets they'll have like what? They'll have KNS tubing in a way that is like a... what is it? It's almost like it's like a T shape, but it's... how can I explain it? Like having one bar go through the pelvis and one going front to back, if that makes sense, so that you could have a rig from either side or from the back or the front. Awesome, Hoserly. Yeah. Well, it's fun to watch your animation. All right, Mr. Gold. Thanks. See you next week, hopefully. All right, so let's move forward and check out Grandview Workshop's piece here that he just posted, and let me open it up in another window. Or not window. There we go. Now this is only 7 seconds long, which is pretty short. Oop. So let me... is there sound? Let me check. I'm gonna play it on mute, just in case. Wow, very impressive. Let's check that out again here. Awesome. I think it's great. So we got a clay dice that turns into a real hard dice, and so we got some squash, stretch, and then a pop, and that pop is really good. In fact, your timing is really great for this. It's like there's a hesitation right at the end before it pops up, like it's stretched out and then it's released like a rubber band. So that's great. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's awesome. So obviously you had a maybe some wire or something to hold it up that you've removed. I can tell. But I can't really see where it is, you know. Obviously it was very successful the way you did it. And let's see, that transition is really great. See, I wish that YouTube would allow you to go frame by frame through here and scrub through, but that way we can really analyze it. But yeah, this is a good frame, so it's like everything sort of snaps into place, and I like how you have the volume of it, of the clay is, you know, it's even, so it's half on the top, half on the bottom. And then I like this too because you've then it's somewhat geometric here before it turns into the final shape. So that's great because it prepares you, you know, even though it's one frame, you've got a good in-between frame there. So that's really nice. And then a little bit more in shape of a cube. And then the dice. Yeah, that's great. I really love to analyze clay animation to see how people do it and their thought process behind it. That's great. And so Hoserlu says, I love how it stretches, and Ken says, yeah, the snap into the transformation is fantastic. Weebeast says, nice. And Grandview says the twisting sound effect is rubber bands rubbing together. You can go frame by frame, click the... Oh, you can? Holy... What? I had no idea you could do that. No way. Wow, you had just opened up a whole new, a whole new way of viewing animations from now on. Wow. This is awesome. When did they add that function to YouTube? Has that always been like that? Did I just not know that all this time? This is great. I can even scrub back and forth. This is awesome. See, that's what I used to do when we had VHS. You know, I would get like a stop motion, you know, VHS tape of whatever, and analyze it frame by frame by scrubbing back and forth. Well, actually, mostly forward in one direction because it was always really hard to go backwards. Wow, that is so cool. Well, thanks for telling me that tip because now I've learned something, right? You got that little wobble at the end, which is nice. I mean, the only critique, okay, that I would say about this whole thing is after you do this little wobble, it scoots back. That's the only thing that I don't like, is that like these last, like, you know, 6 frames here, like there. Yeah, because there's nothing that should make it do that, you know, as a motion, but still. This is like some of the coolest animation I've seen in a while. Even though it's so short, but it's really awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've always tried to press like the forward and back buttons on my keyboard, you know, and it never does anything for me. And that's great to know. I'm gonna be using that all day now. Next time I see a stop motion. Somebody's new stop motion film out there. I'm going to be going frame by frame and analyzing it. Yeah, that is really awesome. I love going frame by frame through stuff, so I should probably end the show and not get too involved and mesmerized by clicking around, which is what I tend to do when I actually animate too. I tend to do this too much with my own animations, and I'm not very efficient when I get in that mental zone where I'm just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Alright. Well, anyways, guys, that does conclude our show for tonight. Now, do you guys think you'll watch next Wednesday, which will be the 26th, the day after Christmas? Will you guys mostly be busy, or like, should I take off next week? Because I have a feeling that it's going to be dead around here next week when everybody's on vacation, everybody's with family and stuff. What do you guys think? Should I have a show next week or not? That's going to be my last question of the night, I think. So I'm also going to subscribe to your channel, Grandview, because I haven't subscribed yet. And actually, I should probably mention, yeah, so if you guys have found this little animation inspiring, of course, you could also subscribe to Grandview's YouTube channel. So does anybody have any comments? So Hosier Lou says, I'd say take it off. Yeah. And Randy says, if there's a show next week, I'll be there. And Weeby says, take the week off. You think? Well, that's two against one. I'm kind of inclined to take next week off, just because like I say, most people will be with families, and you know, just kind of being pragmatic about it. And Ken says, I can't guarantee watching next week. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, thanks, Grandview. I guess I will. All right. So in that case, I will see you guys on the. I guess the second is the next available. Let me just check here. Yeah, the second is definitely the Wednesday that's after New Year's. So okay. Well, that settles it. Alrighty. So, anyways, thank you guys all for stopping in for the hour, and I appreciate every time you hang out and we talk about things and you teach me stuff, and maybe I teach you also a thing or two. And I will see you all in 2 weeks. See you guys later.